Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I think it is fair to say I've had a couple of brushes with social media companies in the past couple of years, and I will also say it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to live in a country that values free speech. We see this as a cherished constitutional right. In authoritarian countries like Russia or China, there is no such thing as free speech. And if you were to voice any form of dissent or criticism, then, surprise, a Communist Party official shows up on your doorstep and they take you to prison. Fortunately, we live in America. I will tell you that I do think it's time for tech companies like Google and Facebook to start embracing the spirit of the First Amendment, not just for their own employees, but for all the Americans who use their platforms. What value is there in platforms that are more concerned with inserting their bias than providing a neutral place for people to discuss their ideas? Companies like Facebook and Google, which have transformed society in revolutionary ways, need to recognize that with that power comes great responsibility. Facebook is a corporation, not a state actor. Yet Facebook runs a forum for debate like the town public square, except there is no mayor or sheriff that would be allowed to police conversation the way that Facebook censors conversation online. Last June, I published an op-ed urging Silicon Valley companies to respect a diversity of opinions and to address allegations of conservative bias on their platforms. If they truly were impartial actors encountering a series of unfortunate events, lay their case out for the American public. Lay out your case. My suggestions really didn't go over very well in the Silicon Valley. Little has changed since then. Earlier this month, Google bent the knee to employee demands to shut down its external AI ethics board because, heaven forbid, a woman serving on the committee was the president of a respected conservative think tank. For these employees in Silicon Valley, conservative credentials are absolutely a scarlet letter. Unfortunately, Facebook is no different. By one count, Facebook had nearly 24 scandals over privacy violations in 2018 alone. At some point, Facebook will have to atone for these sins. Clearly, GDPR isn't causing the company much pain. If anything, it appears to have solidified their dominance in the marketplace, while increasing barriers to entry for potential competitors. I think we should be clear that at least here in the United States Senate, Mark Zuckerberg's pivot to privacy isn't fooling anybody. This sudden support for European-style privacy protections is disingenuous. By allowing the Europeans to force their hand when it comes to addressing content, including political speech, Facebook can cloak itself in altruistic cloth while conveniently evading any constitutional arguments back at home. In order to arrive at consensus on privacy, data security, and net neutrality issues, we're maintaining a bipartisan posture, both on the Commerce and Judiciary committees. This week, Senator Klobuchar and I sent a letter to the FTC urging stronger action for bad actors in the tech sector. Americans are rightly concerned about who owns their virtual you. They want to be certain that their privacy is protected both in the physical and the virtual space. The FTC has a responsibility to hold tech companies accountable for securing their platforms. Big tech is accustomed to living in a bubble with the same comfortable and progressive ideas. But let me tell you right now, that bubble is bursting. When I voiced my concerns about infringements on our freedom of speech a senior Google search engineer called me a terrorist. I was a congressman when I voiced my concerns in 2018, and I sit before you now as a senator and a member of this panel. No matter what, I will continue to protect the right of Americans to engage in free speech, even speech I disagree with. I wish big tech would show the same respect. Whether Californians like it or not, they are going to need to work with us and negotiate with us to see how we can bring meaningful privacy reforms to the people of the United States of America. I yield back.